And we are live. We are live. So we're just going to fire up a pipe right now and see who shows up to the party.
That lighter's working pretty good for you, it looks like.
It's the only soft flame lighter I've ever had that actually worked this long. Usually they conk out. For some reason, I don't know why.
Well, I can tell you why. When I ordered like 4 of those, and the little adjuster at the bottom of the lighter for adjusting the flame. I saw some hack on YouTube a while back where the guy took there were little the silicone rings or the Teflon rings for air conditioning, like car air conditioners. And you pull out the bottom adjuster and you replace those little rings in there with like a high quality one, put it back together. And that's what I did on yours. And a couple of the ones that I got, and it works really well like that.
Oh, how interesting. Yeah. That's great.
This is a trench lighter that I got off of eBay or something.
Classic trench lighter.
So for everybody, I'm smoking, this is Dobie's 4 Square Pipe Tobacco Aromatic in a Peterson Sterling.
Beautiful. That's nice. And I am having, I'm having Orlik Golden Slice, which was a gift from David, in my Savinelli 626 Christmas pipe.
Nice.
And we're going to be talking beards and pipes and whatever comes to our mind tonight.
Whatever comes to mind.
And we'll do a little Q&A as well. So.
How are the gas prices over there on your side?
$4.69 a gallon.
Oh wow, that's cheap.
That's cheap?
Yeah.
Compared to what?
Maybe 30, 45 minutes ago, $6.29 for mid-grade.
My Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Going up, really.
Oh, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, so $75 got me barely, maybe like a little over 3/4 of a tank of gas in my Silverado.
Isn't that crazy?
Cheers.
Oh my gosh.
Cheers to everybody that's joined in. Cheers to you, George, for having me on the stream.
And I only have a canteen with water tonight, but
hey, that works.
I finished my my Jack Daniels last night, so I'll give a toast with my canteen. Cheers.
All right. Cheers.
All right. Well, good evening, all my friendly acquaintances and comrades that are out there. Tonight we're having a special guest, David Gaudreau from the Luxurious Bastard Beard Product Company. And we're just going to be doing a little beard talk tonight, maybe some pipe talk as well. Well, actually, beards and pipes kind of go hand in hand, I would say, right? I mean, they go together. You know, beards and pipes. I'm trying to think if I know of any pipe smokers that don't have beards. You know?
To be honest with you, your channel way back in the day is the reason why. I mean, I had a small beard, but you're kind of like the inspiration behind the larger beard and definitely the pipe, because before then, I never even thought about, lighting up a pipe. But the tactile feel of it, the way the pipes feel, how they warm up.
Isn't it great?
Tools, the different lighters, all the different pipes. It's fun. It's nice and relaxing. It's kind of a forgotten pastime. Nobody really does it anymore.
What's interesting about smoking a pipe is it's a great solo activity. You can read, you can listen to music, watch TV. Obviously, I mean, you can do almost anything you want with it. I had an uncle that was a farmer, a dairy and a goat farmer. He originally had a goat farm and then ended up having a dairy farm many years later. And I remember him with a Peterson, a chin hanger, not unlike yours. Always, I mean, he was riding that tractor. He was on that tractor with a pipe. And when I picture him, I picture him like I can picture him on that damn tractor right now with a pipe in his mouth. And I thought that was interesting. And that was as a little kid. I'm talking like a little kid. I remember that. And I got to contact my cousins and see if like when he quit smoking pipes, because he ended up quitting, but I got to see if like he just threw his pipes away or.
Oh man, can you imagine? Ooh, if those pipes could talk.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I like about pipes is you've heard me say we really don't own these things. We're just kind of like stewards of them because they're going to outlive us.
Oh yeah.
They're going to outlive us. That's
Speaking of that, I picked up this gem today while I was out thrift storing. I'll show you this a little bit later on. It's a meerschaum. I'm not even sure how old it is, but the original price on this thing was $8.95. So it's got to be, I don't know, 60s maybe. Original box.
Easily.
Has the original paperwork and everything inside.
Mm-hmm.
But
nice.
Yeah, what I was gonna say with the pipes, I can't remember the first one I got, but you know how it is. Once you get one, then you see another one that's like a different shape, a different color. You're like, oh, I can have that. Yeah. And then it leads to another one. I probably have more than 100 now.
It's like, what do they call that? Pipe acquisition disorder. Mm-hmm. And then there's tobacco acquisition disorder where it's like, oh, I got to try that. Oh, I got to try that. Oh, I should try that one. And then you just end up with so many different types. And I think last night I was talking about when people think pipe tobacco, they think pretty much like cherry, aromatic. They think about the more aromatic ones. But when you get into like the pure straight Virginias, the English blends, the Perique blends.
Oh yeah.
I've only
dabbled in the Perique. I kind of have to slowly get into those. Yeah.
Well, Perique is the one that smells like decomposing mushrooms. It smells like if you've left like mushrooms or something in the produce drawer of your refrigerator and you open it up and you're like, whew, boy, that, but for something that smells as funky as that, it really adds a nice fragrance to the pipe tobacco when you're puffing on it.
Not to mention your beard, the after note.
The beard note, as I used to say, the beard note. Yeah.
Yeah. My girlfriend can tell right away if I smoked a pipe during the day.
Is that right?
Oh yeah. She loves it. She loves it.
Oh, that's great. I know. My first English blend was Frog Morton on the Town. I really enjoyed that. And then I got into, there was one that I really liked called Larry's Blend. Really, really liked that. And then there's one called Balkan Blend, which is just a hardcore, I'm not even sure you would call it an English blend, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I remember laying down, going to sleep, like being out here, making a video or something when I had my big giant beard and puffing and shooting the breeze with people. And I remember going to bed at night. I go in the house and brush my teeth real quick, rinse my mouth out, and then go to sleep. And I just remember laying there on my pillow, and I smelled the pipe tobacco. And I'm like, where's that smell coming from? And I realized it was my beard. And I'm like, actually, this is kind of nice. And
Uh-huh.
that's when I came up with the phrase a beard note, because we talk about, we talk about the tin note.
Oh yeah.
Ah, how beautiful. We talk about the room note, how it makes the room smell. And but people don't realize that when you have a bigger beard, the
It's a
the
sponge.
beard, literally, it just absorbs uh, that aroma, and it's beautiful. It's some are perfumey, some are smoky.
Hmm.
What is your favorite tobacco?
Actually, it is. It's kind of a tie between three. The first one is Cornell and Deal, the apricots and cream. Could smoke
Ah,
that all day long. It's a awesome. The only thing with that is it runs a little wet, so you
mm-hmm.
kind of have to. If you're gonna smoke a bowl of it, you got to leave some out for a little while. The second one is Sutliff Plantation. I don't know if you've tried that one,
Never
and
tried it. What is that?
Sutliff Barbados. That one. Those two by Sutliff
I,
are great.
yeah, yeah,
Plantation. The best way to describe it is like almost like a really strong Fig Newton.
yeah.
The tin note and the taste and the room note with that one, they're all different. So that's why that one is. It's a great. I
You know
bring
what?
that to smoke in public.
I think. Hold on a second. This is weird, but I just looked over at my stash,
Dude, there
and
you go.
I have it right here.
That's it.
Oh,
That's the one.
let me just get a whiff of that. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, that is just beautiful. It's.
Right?
I mean, it's got that rum smell to it. It's beautiful. It's like a butter rum. I don't know how else. Sweet Barbados rum, smooth and rich. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
magnificent, and
That's
it smells great in the tin. It smells great in the room, and of course,
mhm.
it makes the beard smell good. As a matter of fact, after this bowl, I'm gonna fire up a bowl of that. Now that you mention it,
That
the
one. When I smoke that in public, like a brewery or something, outside, I get the
yeah,
most compliments, and it's typically people are coming over. They're like, "Hey, might be weird. Is it alright if I kind of like sit by you?" And I'm like, "No, that's fine." They're like, "It's," they're like strangely drawn to the pipe and like that smell, and a lot of people are like, "Oh gosh, it reminds me of my dad or my grandfather." Or, it gives them kind of like that warm, vibey type
yeah.
atmosphere, which I think is kind of funny, from a pipe.
When I smoke a pipe in public, which is pretty rare, but when I do, it draws women. And when I've been with people, they are like, dude, I can't believe how many women are approaching you. And it just makes it easy for a single guy. I just call it now just like pipe game.
Yeah.
Or I mean there's a lot of jokes that can come out of that. I mean, laying pipe and all this kind of stuff. But if you're smoking an aromatic blend, it really does bring the women over. It's strange. You know how it's
Yeah.
weird when, like in the dating world, a woman will say something like, I'm not into smokers, or I don't want any smokers. Women don't consider a pipe
Mm,
smoke. Like when
nope.
they say that they don't want to date a smoker, what they're really saying is, I don't want to date a cigarette smoker.
An ashtray.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And uh, when when women have approached me, they're just, it's almost like it's like an introduction. The pipe is like my wingman, so to speak.
Yeah, I can see that. Now
Wingman blend.
here's a question for you. I know how I answer these, but when you're ever filling out something, insurance, whatever, and it gets to the spot that says,
Are you a
"Do you
smoker?
smoke?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I I don't consider myself a smoker. I don't inhale it.
Right.
I don't necessarily if that's true, but I never, I'm like, nope, I'm not a smoker, because the thing is too, I can put this down. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not like at the end of the day like, oh my gosh, I got to load a pipe up, and no,
Right. It's not an addiction. It's
no,
not a
not at all.
chemical addiction. I
Hmm.
mean, if anything, it's it's a comforting habit. It's a comforting behavior that is tactile.
Yep.
We like the way it smells. We like the way it feels. It
Hmm.
relaxes us. It slows us down. You know,
Yeah.
you never hear of anyone. People don't run outside for a quick pipe. They run
Right.
outside for a quick cigarette.
Yep.
But no one ever runs out for a quick pipe. It takes time.
Yeah.
There's a routine.
You got to choose your tobacco. Got to choose what lighter you might want. Your tamper. If you have
Hmm.
multiple pipes, it's like, oh well, I used that one Monday. I'm going to use this one now. So it's like, it's just I guess it would be like as a woman would want to go out on the porch and read a book. This is our,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call that, chill time.
yeah, you're right about that. You're right.
Yeah, it slows you down.
So you have a company called the Luxurious Bastard,
Yep.
and tell us about the company.
Well, uh, contrary to what everybody thinks, Luxurious Bastard Company is me. It's just me, myself, and I have my right hand man, Steve, that helps me with, labeling stuff, shipping all the shipping orders out and all that. And it's just a one man. I used to do this out of my house, on my spare time, while I was working for the Department of Defense. I did communications for all the battle simulations and training and all that stuff. So, and how I got to it is I had a small beard, and I was buying some products from a company. I can't even remember the name anymore. I don't even think they're around. But
Mhm.
there was a blend that they had that was kind of like this cherry tobacco aroma, and they stopped making it. And I spend a lot with that company, probably $100 or more every week or
Mhm.
every other week. So I reached
Yeah.
out to the owner, and he totally blew me off. Like, oh well, we don't make it anymore. Pick something else. Just rude. So I kind of looked at the oils that he was using, the carriers. Then I started looking at other brands out there, and I think at that time it was like Beard Brand. Uh, there was a couple other like known ones, and I started looking at their carrier blends.
Hmm.
Picking basically the best of each one of them, and so then I blended up my own in a small batch the way I liked it, and I was wearing that, and then few people beards. I think 2017 ish, beards were starting to come back. I mean, they never really went away, but you started to see more of them.
Yeah.
And I started getting compliments. People are, oh, what do you, is that cologne? What are you wearing? I'm like, oh, it's beard oil. They're like, really? They're like, what is it? And I'm like, oh, I just, I made it myself, kind of thing. And they're like, oh, well, do you sell it? And I'm like, no, not really. Kind of slowly, I sold one to a buddy or gave it to him. And he's like, man, I buy this, and this, and that. You need to sell this stuff like yesterday. And I'm like, I got a full time job and don't really
Yeah.
have time for that. And it just one thing led to another. I started making a few more, and then it was like a dozen at a time would sell out in a week. And for me, that was
Wow.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And then it all changed. Have you heard of Beard Tube Scuba? He's
Yeah.
on YouTube. He does beard
Yeah.
stuff. I
Yep.
sent him. I think at that time I had made maybe like 8 different profiles, and I
Yeah.
sent him a box with a bunch of, you know, basically polished all my whistles and sent them all to him. And after that week, I think I had more than like 1,000 orders that had come in. And I remember walking into my, my full time job with a stack of papers, and I put them down on the table. And my boss looks at me. He's like, "What's all that?" I'm like, "Those are my orders for my side hustle." And he's looking at him. He's flipping through them, and he's like, "He's all, you're doing that like a very small, portion of your time." He's all, "Imagine if you were able to do that full time." And he's like, "You need to quit this job and start, go with your passion, go with your hobby." And I'm like, it was scary, but I did it. That
Mm-hmm.
was back in 2017, 2018,
Mm-hmm.
and quit Fort Irwin and been doing this, since then. And the,
Nice.
the cool thing is there's nobody else involved. I don't owe banks money.
Mm-hmm.
There's no loans or anything like that. This is everything that the business made. I just kept putting it back into yourself and getting, to where I'm at now, which is,
Nice.
it's still pretty amazing. I can't believe sometimes I pull up to the shop and I get out with the key, I unlock the shop door, and I'm like, man, open the door. Like, this is me. I did this.
Right. Right.
And so now we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. When did you
3 years.
first? When did you and I first start talking to one another? When was that?
I think it must have been
Was it
probably about,
2017?
no, I think it was like 2018-ish. I think it was after I quit my job at Fort Irwin.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have reached out and tried to, because at that time you were, all about beard,
Yeah.
butters and bombs and like reviews and all that. And I tried to get
Yep.
you a box, and I think that had to have been back in like mid to late 2018, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you became known for your products, and now
Yeah, actually,
you have a lot of customers all over the world. Do you ship internationally, or are you just domestic at this point?
oh yeah, international. I actually, inside of my shop in my showroom, if you ever get a chance to come visit, I have a huge vintage map on the wall that's probably like 8 by 10.
Yeah.
And every time I get an order out of the country, I get a little pin and pin it. So they're everywhere.
Nice.
I've shipped to Russia, China, Japan, Germany, all kinds of
Nice.
places that I have to Google to find it on the map.
Hmm.
So very cool.
That's
And it
cool.
actually took 2021. They do these things called the Beardies, and it's kind of like an award show for beard companies. And this last show, which took place, I think it was like November-ish last year, I took
Yeah.
Best Feel and Beard for the third year in a row, and Scent Profile of the Year, which was the 1912 Bastard for 2021. So
Ah, nice.
Best Feel and Beard, I mean, for the consumer, I would hope to believe like, hey, that means these are customers voting saying this stuff works. My beard feels softer and it's more
Hmm.
manageable and no itch and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty awesome. I know in 2016 I was invited to be a judge at the national, and there are some people that aren't going to believe this, but there's a thing called the National Beard and Mustache Competition,
Oh yeah, I
and
heard of it.
it was held in Nashville. It was actually held at the Ryman Auditorium, the original Grand Ole Opry, and I was invited to be a judge at that competition in 2016. And they flew me down to Nashville and put me up, and it was magnificent. And I had a great time at the Opry. It was good.
You had a beard, a big beard at that time, right?
It was a fair. It was. I don't think it was as big as yours at the time when I was a judge. When I was a
Mm.
judge, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 inches shorter than your beard. It was a full beard, but it wasn't the real big one that a lot of people know me for. But
Yeah,
at the time, they found me on YouTube and invited me down and thought that I would be a good judge. And I met all the all the classic beard guys,
oh,
like I'm talking like the guys that are icons in the whole beard world. The guys with
Guinness,
the big
Guinness
the
people.
the curly cues, the guy with like the I forget the one guy's name. Is it Taylor? Monstrous beard, just like the biggest beard I've ever seen. Not just long, but just huge beard. It was
Hmm.
amazing.
Is that the guy
Uh,
that does like sculpting? He sculpts things out of his beard or something. I remember
uh,
seeing one of that.
Well, that's a different guy, but he was there as well, and he actually, I think he did a bird. He actually he created like a beak. It was like a beak out of his beard, so he looked like a giant crow,
Yeah.
and it was kind of funny.
Hmm.
And there were, I mean, all those guys, and actually the whole beard world was. I think that's when a lot of the whole. To me, I think that's when the beard world was at its highest. You
Yeah.
know, as
I
far
think it
as
was 2015.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
like 2016 to 2018, those 2 years, and that was pretty cool. You know, so
I imagine a lot of people recognize you like, oh my, it's George Bruno, the Sultan. I imagine,
it
I
doesn't.
know I would be intimidated if I was up on there and I saw you down as a judge. I'd be like, uh oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's
A
on
lot of
point.
everybody knew me. It's a matter of fact. I had gone to. I was telling stories wherever I go. People recognize me from the beard. Now, when I don't have a beard, it's kind of like being in the witness protection program. Nobody recognizes me. But when I have a big beard, like I went to a hair show. Plus, being in the hair industry, that kind of helped. But I'm in New York City, walking from Penn Station to the Javits Center, and I usually would go, with a woman, just one of the girlfriends, and minimum 5 or 6 people would say something, like even from across the street, "Hey, Sultan!" Like, and whatever gal I was with would be like, "How do these people know you?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a long story. Didn't even want to get into it." So, and then we're going around in the Javits Center, which is one of the largest convention centers in the world. It's probably, I don't know if it's bigger than the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, but all day long, people are like, "Hey, I watch you all the time. Oh my God, I love your videos." And this woman, I'll never
Autograph?
forget that. Oh yeah, there's autographs and everything. I mean, there were people nonstop coming up to me. "Can I get a picture? Can I get a picture?" And she was like, "Who are you? Who are you?" It was funny. It was funny. But yeah,
Yeah.
those were the interesting days. I'm on vacation in St. Martin in the Caribbean, and I'm sitting at an outdoor cafe, and someone walks in, and all of a sudden I hear, "The Sultan," and I'm like, "Oh God, here we go." So I stood up and shook their hand. "Oh my God, I watch your videos." And of course, at that time, the woman I was with was like, "Sultan?"
Yeah.
Like, and it's kind of a weird thing, when
Hmm.
people recognize you from that. And again, my typical response would be, uh, it's a long story. It's a long story.
Yeah, it's weird. I've only gotten recognized a few times, and one of them I was actually dropping some packages off at a post office, orders, and I hear somebody behind me. They're like, "Luxurious, luxurious bastard," and me, I'm not looking at them, but my immediate face, if you could have seen it, was like, "Uh,
Yeah,
turn around, like, yeah, how's it going?" They're like, "Oh man, I'm wearing tobacconist today," and da, 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 and I'm like, "Cool."
it's funny.
It just caught me off guard, like, what?
Yeah, that's great. That's
I actually
great.
have a few customers that when they order stuff, they actually want me to sign, like sign the beard oil or sign the tin or something like that. I'm like, okay, I'm just a regular guy here in Apple Valley, California, but if you want me to put my signature on it, no
Right.
problem.
I had a guy that wrote me once and said, he says, "My girlfriend is a huge fan of yours." And I'm thinking, okay, that's interesting. And he says, "I want to give her something really interesting for her birthday." And I said, okay. Like, he wanted me to sign a pair of chopsticks. He goes, I'll pay you for them. I'm like, don't worry about it, dude. I said, I'll send them to you anyway. So I literally, I was like, best wishes, Beth, happy birthday. I signed the chopsticks and sent them to him, and he gave them to her for, as one of the gifts for her birthday. And she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did that! Oh my God, I love that guy!" And I'm like, "Okay, that was fascinating."
Yep, the vortex method.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny. So, all right. So you got this big beard now. One of the things that whenever I've grown like a really big beard, you kind of get to the point where you've arrived when you're walking outside and the wind is blowing and you feel the wind tugging at your beard. It's like it's a nice sensation. Mm-hmm. That was one of the first things that I always enjoyed when I had a big beard. The second thing was, if it's a sunny day and I happen to see my shadow, I would see my beard in the shadow, and I thought, well, that's interesting.
You're like, huh? Yep. I often forget now because I'm just so used to it. But like you said, as soon as the wind blows sideways and you're like, you have to pull it back over, it's like, okay, it's there. Or the wind's blowing straight at you and you get the walrus split of death.
Yeah, right. Now,
but now it's just an extension of me. I don't really can't even.
You don't even think about it. Yeah. Does your beard ever get stuck in a zipper?
Oh yeah. I do a lot of mechanic stuff, so I have a tendency of leaning into an engine bay on my beard, and I'm reaching for something, and then when I go to pull back, I realize I can't pull back because I'm leaning on my beard, so I'm kind of like, hold on, got to reposition myself. But yeah, working with tools and whatnot, I try to put a band on it or tuck it in my shirt out of the way, because I've gotten to myself in some. Or when I'm using a drill and I start thinking about, man, if that drill were to catch it and just...
That happened to me once, where literally I let go of the trigger on the drill right before it grabbed my beard. Like, you don't think about it, man. If that ever happened, oh my God. Here's the truth. It wouldn't tear your beard hair out. What it would do, it would bring the drill to your face really fast.
Yeah.
It would just be like, like that.
Have you ever accidentally lit your stash on fire? Lighting a cigar or something like that?
Back when I had the monster beard and a monster stash, that's when I got into church warden pipes, like the longer pipes. Mm-hmm. And they, I was always, like, if I was lighting like a shorter pipe, I would have to kind of either lift it up where I can see it, because like with the pipe that you have now, that's got a real sharp bend in it compared to this one here. And I find that when I have the chin hanger in, I really got to lift it up so I can see it and then light it, because if it's down here where the beard is, I don't know if you remember, I did a video, this is 5 years ago, where I took some beard hair out of my brush, like long beard hair, pull it out of my brush. And, it's coated with oil and with balm. And I wanted to see what would happen if I lit it. Now, if you take regular hair and light regular hair, it just kind of almost vaporizes. When I took that long beard hair, that hair was like, 10, 12 inches long, and I lit the end of it, it was like a fuse. It went...
Oh, really?
And I had to let go of it real quick. I'm like, whoa, that was crazy. It literally... Yeah, well, think about it. The oil and the beeswax is like an accelerant. It literally became like a fuse, a fast-burning fuse. It was actually faster than like a firecracker fuse. Like, you didn't have time. It was like really fast. So yeah, that was a freaky thing. And I thought, my God, because I oiled my beard every day, put beard balm on every day, and I smoked pipes. And I thought, my God, if I happen to light my beard by accident, that could be a tragedy.
Yeah, you better have a beer or some warm coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah, I never thought about that. About like, it being an accelerant. Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, I try to use soft flame if I'm using a pipe. Or you actually, back in the day, you got me turned on to those. I don't think I have any here, but the cedar wood spills.
Aren't they something? Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice. It changes. Plus, I like the smell of the cedar too.
Oh, the cedar's magnificent.
Yeah.
I actually still. I gotta show the folks what you're talking about. I have a ton of these things.
Same,
and
yeah.
What this is cedar wood that, like when you take a plane and you plane a wood plane, and the cedar spills are what comes out of the plane when you plane the wood, and it curls up. And this is what it turns into, is this right here. And using cedar to light a cigar or a pipe, obviously you're not getting any petroleum, you're not getting any sulfur in there, and the cedar smell itself is actually very nice. It's very nice. So I would literally just light this, just like what you said, light that. There we go. And then
Yep.
And it was beautiful. And then just blow that out. But the smell right now, that smoke that's coming off that is so beautiful. It's really, it's nice.
And I have to be honest, the first time I saw you talk about it, I'm like, it can't really change the flavor, when you're lighting a bowl. And I'm like, I'm going to order some of those. And I got them, and I was like, okay, you literally, some of the butane, like you can taste that stuff. And with that, it's just, it just adds to the flavor. Plus the room note too, because usually you put it down in your tray and it kind of wisps up into the air, and just another ingredient to the chill vibes, time that you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to take cigar boxes, and I would take just your typical cigar box. Let me see, like I have one here.
You're probably like me. You got one of everything around you.
I do. Yeah. And I would take a cigar box, literally, and just like break the top off, break the sides off, and I would take a knife and literally shave pieces off of the cedar cigar box, and then use those as well to light a cigar or pipe. And they're magnificent. Same thing. It gives out a beautiful, beautiful smell.
Probably even better considering that, it held cigars, and that cedar wood kind of absorbs a little bit of that note.
Yeah, you're right.
For sure.
You're right. Now, all right. So what kind of, tell people, like there's some people here that don't know some of the lingo in the beard grooming industry. For instance, you said carrier oils. Explain to the audience what a carrier oil is.
Well, the carrier oil is, in layman's terms, that's your base. That's the base ingredients that you're using when you add your essential oils and your fragrant oils and whatnot, because you can't just put, straight up fragrances into your beard. And typically, on average, I think most companies will have 3 or 4 carriers, like your argan, your jojoba, hemp seed and whatnot. And that's pretty much your foundation for all of your, and then it's the same with the beard butter and the beard balm. like my formulation is, I think I'm using 9 different carrier oils plus a vitamin E, and it's the
Hmm.
same blend with the oil, the butter, the balm, the mustache
Hmm.
wax. They all get the same base.
Hmm.
Then, of course, with your butters and your waxes, that's where the other stuff. You still have that same carrier base, but now you're adding cocoa butter or shea nut butter, and then your organic beeswax, on top of that. But
Hmm.
yeah, your carrier oils is what carries, your fragrant load, and
Hmm.
that's what does all of the nourishing and keeping your hairs healthy, the skin underneath your beard.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I mean, even to this day, I get people, how do I use it? I just put it on my beard. It's like, no, you want to get the oil down underneath and then brush it out and, kind of get it pushed around through your hair. I
Yeah.
have people that are like, oh, I put it on and I just put it on my hair. Well, that's, you need to get underneath and then gravity will do its thing. I think it's, what is it? Jojoba. That's the closest carrier oil that's pretty. It's almost similar to I forget the name of the oil that your skin produces for hair. But I think the jojoba is the closest to that in nourishment for your skin too.
Yeah. Yeah. It does, like, for instance, if I just took olive oil and put olive oil on my face would be shiny for a whole day. It doesn't absorb
Mhm.
into the skin. If I take the jojoba oil and put that on my skin, within 20 minutes, the shine is gone. The skin absorbed it, and it's uh, what was taught to me many, many years ago was that it's called an ultra emollient, where
Brilliant. Yep.
the skin absorbs it. Whereas,
Yep.
the thicker oil, like an olive oil, would just make you greasy, and
Hmm.
it would show up on your phone screen, and
Hmm. I'm sure there's
everything.
many people that have tried oil and you put it in, you get it in like you think it's good, and then now you're like, okay, and you do that and you're still like, and then you wipe it on other things and like it's everywhere, and then you look at it and it just looks like juicy, and a
Yeah.
lot of the and I took that notation from a lot of your earlier videos on carriers that were emollient and that actually absorbed in. So I think that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why, hence best feeling beard, 3 years in a row, because it works and it doesn't just leave your, like, you got transmission fluid all over your face.
Right.
you know
Right.
some of the oils.
I always found that when I apply oil to my beard and goatee and whatever's left on my hands, I usually just put it on my tattoos and put it on my arms and stuff, and it just makes it just makes your tattoo look better when it has a little bit of oil on it, and makes your
Yeah,
skin look better. And
and then the fragrant, you have whatever fragrant. I haven't used cologne in, I don't even know how long. I mean, I pretty
right.
much, the beard oil is my not stench, but it's my Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Same with my hair. I don't really use. I haven't used products in my hair in forever. I typically a little bit of whatever's left over, with the oil or beard butter. I'll run that through my hair, low heat with the hair dryer and kind of finger it through, and I'm like, there you go,
Yep.
it's good. And
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went to get my hair cut, and the lady that was cutting my hair, she's like, "Man, your hair is really soft. What do you use in it?" And I told her beard oil, beard butter, and she's like, "No kidding, huh?"
It's great. All right. So you have a girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and how long have you been with her? And did you meet her while you had the big beard, or have you been together a long time?
Yeah, coming up on a year, and she's known me with a big beard, forever. Even we had acquaintance even years prior, and she's always seen me with a big beard. It's probably a little bit bigger now, but I mentioned, oh, I need to trim off some of it, and she's like, huh? So she likes it. She likes it a lot.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I
Also,
know. Go
I don't
ahead.
know if you too, but when you had a bigger beard, um, for some reason, people always seem to think like that you know more, like you're wiser or something like that. Like more people ask you questions about things just because of the way you look. When I had a really short beard or like just a goatee, hardly ever. Grew a
Yeah,
big beard out, and people like open doors. Hey, sir. It's funny
right.
just from that. I guess it was a status symbol, back in the day to have
Sure.
a beard because it costs money. Costs money to maintain it.
I know. I've told stories uh, of the type of women that I attract when I have a beard versus when I don't have a beard, or depending on the length of the beard. At different stages of beard growth, I would attract different kinds of women,
Hmm.
and I just found that very fascinating. Very fascinating.
Some don't like it at all, but it's like who cares? I think the 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 type of women that appreciate the beard is just they're I don't want to offend anybody, but it seems like they have a more mature appreciation, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of the things I never do, and I named tonight's talk, beard talk. We're doing beard talk, and I don't give a rip what a woman thinks about my facial hair. Whether I shave it, I never ask for permission. I never, if I want to buzz it down or grow it out, whatever. I just do what I want to do, and I find that my beard is for me and not for anyone else. Period.
And when it gets to this length, contrary to most people think, it's actually easier, I think, to maintain this because
Oh yeah,
with the weight and everything, it kind of pulls itself down.
yeah,
I put in, I towel dry my beard, put in the oil first, let it soak in before I even touch the blow dryer. Then I kind of do whatever I'm doing. Then I add a little bit of butter, and then I low heat from a distance and just gently brush it down a little bit and kind of style the stash, and that's it. When it
yeah,
was shorter, I had to do a lot more work to keep it from fluffing out and trying to get
right,
things trained. Now it just kind of naturally lays that way.
yeah.
So it's a lot easier, I think, with a big beard.
Oh, it is. I know when I when I had a close cropped beard, I would have to every Tuesday it kind of looked kind of sloppy if I let it go, for a week or two, and I would just keep it real close. Now with the goatee, I have to keep these lines. I got to like pay attention to my lines, otherwise it looks like an accident. But when you do have the big beard, it's so much easier. So much. I mean, it's
Hmm.
just wake and shake. It's
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. Now, when you had your big beard, did you, as far as like you talk about like a reset, did you would reset like once a week or depending on like what you were doing? I typically do like Saturdays is my reset. I use the pine tar soap, kind of
Yeah,
strip everything out, and then recondition it and re-oil, and then I'm good for
yeah,
typically about a week.
yeah. That's pretty much what I did. I would use like a co-wash
Hmm.
and then wash it like once a week. And the problem that a lot of people have is I think they wash their beard too much and they dry it out. And it's the same thing
Hmm.
with your skin. I'm trying to think like, yes, what's today? Today is Saturday. Um, Yesterday, I didn't have to be anywhere except home. I was working from home. So I didn't jump in the shower yesterday. And I felt like sometimes if I just skip a day, that my skin's going to be okay. I
Hmm.
don't always, if I don't have a meeting or if I don't have to go out and, if I don't have to be cutting hair or meeting with people, why jump in the shower? It's not like
Mm-hmm.
I'm working a hard labor job where I'm sweating and, you know,
Yeah.
so, but I think sometimes it's good to give your hair and skin a break and not always just strip all the oils off your skin all the time. I think it's just healthy just to kind of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
let your skin and
And
hair just do its own thing.
I think nowadays too, people try to way overcomplicate it. You know, with like, oh, as soon as you get out of the shower, you put your oil, then you wait 36.7 seconds, then you apply your
Yeah.
butter. But you know,
Yeah.
like, you know, beards have been around forever, and it's like don't overcomplicate. Like, use this one on Friday and then use this one on Wednesday because
Yeah.
do what feels good.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you about your shipping. Now, obviously, if you're fulfilling orders, you ship everything out. Do you wrap things up in like tissue paper or bubble wrap or what?
Oh
What do you
yeah,
do?
most I would say probably 90% of my packaging I can usually fit it in the USPS priority bubble bags. But then
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the oil and the balm, usually like two balms, two oils, roll it in an individual bubble bag. Then that goes into your main bag, and they stay pretty safe. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't really had any problems with them getting crushed or anything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would say typically I do my launches on Sunday at noon is when I drop everything. So Monday morning, when I come in, 200, 300 orders typically. Sometimes it can be higher than that, just depending on if I released a new profile or not. But we usually get everything out Monday, Tuesday, maybe as late as Wednesday, and then I start making stuff Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, preparing for Sunday's drop. And that's been
Yeah.
working out for years like that, and it does pretty good. I think a
Yeah.
lot of my customers sometimes they're amazed when they order something on Sunday and it's Tuesday, they already got it. They're like, how the hell did you do that?
Yeah.
I'm going to grab
Now,
a different
yeah,
tobacco.
do it. Do it.
Seven C's.
Oh, yeah.
This is
I have that.
McBaron Seven C's regular blend.
Yep. I've had that. I like that. That's a nice blend. Hey, so what about for the past 2 years, this big old mask wearing thing that we've had to go through? How
Oh,
has wearing a mask affected your beard life, if you want to call it that?
well, I personally, I hated it. Like, I would, I was the guy that wouldn't put on a mask until like they were saying, please put on a mask. And I'm like, okay. But personally, I hated it. Kind of rolled with the punches and everything. I ended up
Yeah.
making most of the beard masks. They're really tight and they go right underneath your chin, so you end up with this
Yeah.
really ridiculous beard mask. By the end of the day. So
Yeah.
I had seen these masks that were kind of like what do they call those? Like a baklava, where you pull
Yeah.
it over your head. But
Yeah.
the ones that I did, there was a thin piece in the back, and then in the front it was cut like as a taper. So when you put it on
Yeah.
and pulled it down, it was no longer like pushing back under your chin. It kind of,
It was
even for a
hanging.
beard like that, it was hanging and kind of protecting your whole beard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I was selling those and just kind of rolling with the punches. But now out here, at least, they just released the mandate, so
Yeah.
a lot
That's
of that
good.
stuff is kind of going away. But I actually did pretty well during COVID times. I thought it was my main source of income, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh man, here we go. I'm gonna have to go get a job at AutoZone again, or be a
Mm-hmm.
manager
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. But actually,
Yeah.
sales for me increased during the whole lockdown and everything. And I think that just had to do with people had money and now they had no way to spend it. So online sales went up by a lot. So for me, the type of business that I had, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Well, that's good. because a lot of businesses were affected, but being that yours is online and through the mail, you probably I can see where you did okay. I know for me, I have a couple of those masks for the part-time job that I have where they require it, and I hated it. But it goes just over my nose, and then it would hang down when I had the beard, and it didn't give me kind of like that mask beard. And then I also have like a neck gaiter that I use, and I just kind of went like that, and
even though you had your own, I know you had your own space, right? Like your own room where you'd handle your clients. They still made you wear a mask in there.
Well, there's I have like 4 different jobs that I do. I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at a prison, and then I work a couple days a week at a salon where I have a men's grooming studio. But in Pennsylvania, they said if you are licensed by the state to do anything, barbering, styling, estheticians doing skincare, massage therapists, anything that where you would get a license by the state, you were required to wear a mask. And it was just such a pain in the ass. I'll tell you, I hated it. I literally hated it. And I fought it. But I also don't want to say no to money as well.
Yeah.
So I kind of played the game. And I usually waited for people, like for instance, when I went shopping or something, food shopping, I would wait to be told, "Sir, can you put a mask on?" I'm like, "Oh, no problem," and I just do it.
Because you're walking around and typically you're like, okay, they have a mask. They don't have a mask. So I'm just, until they actually come up to me and like, please, can you put a mask? And it's like, all right.
And it was never like usually an adult. Like when you go shopping in a supermarket, it's not like the manager would come up to you. It was like a 16-year-old kid working his first job, that was telling you that. And I didn't want to hassle a kid, and
Yeah. Or the Karens.
Yeah, or the Karens. Yeah, I wasn't interested in schooling anybody or fighting or arguing or anything like that. I'm just, but I didn't just do it automatically either.
Yeah.
Put it that way. So
it kills me seeing people riding around in their car by themselves wearing a mask. It's like, oh yeah, because it's going to come through the air conditioning while you're making that left turn on a main street. It's thick over there.
Right, exactly. So what kind of products do you have at Luxurious Bastard?
I carry all the bread and butter, the oils, the beard butter, the balm. I have a few profiles in the mustache wax. Of course, I've got the co-wash, and then I just released a kind of a general beard and body wash in one of my profiles. It's doing pretty good.
Nice.
And then the pine tar soap. I got the pine tar soap. That's pretty much what I use for my resets. And then I follow up with the co-wash, kind of let that sit and rinse it out. But, all the staples, they're pretty much the non-complicated, your oil, your butter, your wash, combs, and then all the swag and stuff that goes along with it.
Yeah.
But it's pretty simple. There's some companies out there that have so many things. It's like, when you give people too many choices, then they don't choose anything, or they have to be told what they want.
Yeah.
So I try to keep it pretty simple.
One of our audience members has a question. David, what inspires your scent creations, and do you see yourself influenced by any trends when you create products?
Honestly, it's just self. I love creating new profiles. I guess I don't really follow, because there's stuff that a lot of people make that me personally I don't like.
Hmm.
as far as fragrances or whatever. So I kind of do it like I guess if I like it, I feel that most people are gonna like it, and 99.9% of the time, that's pretty much how it is.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I do. I have what they call the custom labs, and for a brief, like a 24-hour period, I open up my labs to where a customer is able to place an order for an oil or an oil and a butter or all three in a profile that maybe somebody, and trust me, I get crazy ones, but like somebody will be like, hey, I want dry tobacco with a splash of lemon mixed with like some leather and peanut butter and jelly, whatever. Like, so I'll do these customs, and I've actually had quite a few what I call my staples, stuff that I do quite often that actually
Hmm.
came from a customer creation.
Hmm.
So, that stuff like that's what excites me. I love coming up with, mixing some, oh, let's try black pepper, let's try rose, just off the wall things when you combine these notes that you would on paper you go, that's going to smell like garbage. And then you smell it and
Hmm.
you're like, holy crap. I would never would have thought rose, grapefruit, and black pepper, work so
Right.
well together.
Right.
So I guess
That's
I'm just
true.
kind of self inspired.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you think about some of the greatest perfume laboratories, literally, it's just experimenting. That's all it
Mm-hmm.
is, experimenting, and everything has a number. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they try this blend and it's a number, and then they, usually name it. That's the last thing they do is they name it.
That's
But
exactly
every
what I do. Yep.
yeah.
The name comes last. Sometimes customers will be like, "Oh, let's call this the gunslinger or something," and I'll mix the leather or whatever together, and I'm smelling it. I'm like, you know what? That smells like, if you're near the ocean on the side of a mountain and you can smell water mixed with like spruce and something. So, I'll be like, "Oh, this is the ocean, whatever." A lot
Yeah.
of a lot of the names come after I uh, create it.
Yeah.
Speaking of creations too, the 1912, that was actually created 100% accident. Um, when I was
Tell me
working out of
about
my
that.
house, I ordered a bunch of stuff, a bunch of random things that I wanted to experiment with, and a lot of times I get them in generic bottles or something. So I'll put them into a different container, and you touch things, and you're trying to keep everything organized. Well, with the 1912, I was putting things away, and you get stuff on your hands, and you kind of wipe. Well, by the time I was done, I'm smelling my hands and my fingers, and I'm like, my gosh, that smells amazing. What is that? And it took me probably about 3 or 4 hours to figure out what I had touched and like what
Yep.
I put away. And then, I put everything on the table and kind of smelling things. And
Yeah.
so the 1912 was created sheerly by accident and touching things and putting things away. And there's one ingredient, which I call the kicker, in the 1912 that the vendor that I was getting it from, I am actually the only one that is able to buy it now, and I have to buy it in bulk. So like nobody can ever recreate the 1912 profile. And I've actually been approached by a what do they call a perfumist or somebody that creates colognes, and they actually
Hmm.
wanted to buy the profile because apparently they got an oil from somebody, a beard oil, and they were like infatuated with it. And at
Nice.
that time, this was years ago, and I was like, nah, because I saw the potential in my business. I'm like, unless I can retire on that, nah,
Yeah.
no thanks.
Yeah. John Hoover from POV Media in Austin, Texas. He comments when we were talking about COVID. He said a lot of guys worked from home and grew beards. So
Hmm.
that's a fact too. I know a lot of guys that worked remotely, for a year and a half or 2 years,
Yep.
and
Hence
yeah,
business beard, the
yep,
business beard, what they're calling it. Yep.
that's right. Is there a beard lifestyle? Is there a beard lifestyle?
Oh yeah, there's they call it they nicknamed it the bearded community, and I'm sure you've heard of that terminology before, but
Hmm.
I try to stay out of all of that stuff because unfortunately it turns into a like a bunch of high school type
Yeah,
atmosphere, with oh this and that, and if you don't use this because so and so said that if you use that it's no good, and it's like okay, you
yeah,
know the bearded community when it first started was pretty cool community, but I think a lot of it has kind of turned into a bunch of, I don't know the word for it, but just I try to stay out of it.
yeah. I
But yeah.
noticed that that social media was a beardsman's best friend and worst enemy after a while.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people who came on the map because of beards, and we liked looking at men with beards. Men liked looking at other guys with beards, and it had nothing to do with, your sexuality or anything like that. Guys just would look at another guy, and then they would think to themselves, "I wonder how I would look with a beard,"
Mhm.
or "I would like to grow a style like that." And there's so much more to having facial hair than not shaving. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, totally. There's people that I think look a lot better with a beard, even if it's just a short beard than no beard at all, just because of facial features and whatnot. But I feel
Mhm.
like I'm one of those. Like if I shave my beard, I just look like a serial killer or something.
That's funny. That is funny.
I'm pretty sure I'll die with some type of a beard.
Yeah,
Guarantee it. Yeah.
yeah. I know John Hoover, who's with us here. He was a deep sea diver early in his career, and I would imagine John would be able to comment on this. I know when you are a deep sea diver, that having an air seal, putting on a mask some type, unless you're in one of those, I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah, the helmet thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, the facial hair. I know when I used to go snorkeling, I would put on a mask, and uh, it all depended on how thick my beard was. And I love going snorkeling. I love snorkeling. And it
Hmm.
got to the point where I couldn't really get a good seal with the mask because of my mustache. I'd have the snorkel in my mouth and the mask on, and I ended up doing having just kind of like swimmers goggles on,
Mm.
and and
Goes
snorkeling
up over
like
your
that.
nose.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
just yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, I have a lot of I have quite a few customers that were major customers of mine that went to like the pilot industry. They started flying planes or whatnot, and they're required to have a cleanly shaven face, for the air masks and stuff. And I had one guy that was like, you know what? I love your stuff so much. I was like, do I really want to do that? Do I really
yeah,
want to shave my beard to become a pilot?
yeah,
And like, I don't really think about those things, just because of what I do. But yeah, that's got to be interesting. I had one guy tell me that he ended up looking like an Amish because he shaved his stash so he
right,
could still get a seal, and still have a beard.
yeah. Well, I know when you think about it, people who have to wear helmets and masks, and when I think about like a welders, with the welders when they have that big welder's helmet mask thing on, if you have a beard that goes below that, you have to
Mhm.
really tie that up, I would imagine, and tuck it because obviously there's sparks flying all over the place when you're welding.
Yep, I actually weld myself, and when I weld, either if I have one of those masks or the balaclavas or whatever you call them, if I
Hmm.
don't have one of those, I'll just take my beard and fold it down into my shirt, and
Yeah,
then when I put the mask on, I don't have to worry about anything, any sparks or whatnot. But
yeah,
yeah, you got to think about those things.
That's
I
true.
can't imagine being a full time mechanic and trying to have a beard because you're getting oil and grease and getting your beard stuck on bolts and stuff as you're coming out of the car.
You're right. You're leaning over an engine, and your hair is hanging down.
Fan belt.
Oh God, that's a scary thought.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. John Hoover says, in commercial diving, we dove in helmets with an oral nasal mask, but no seal required. Only in the chambers did we have to make a seal on a bib mask. We had short, clean, lined beards. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to keep the line right here natural. Like I'll shave this, but I don't make a straight line. I just kind of, where it's the thickest, I don't touch it and just kind of get the scragglies off. But that's about it.
Get the stuff off your cheekbones.
Yeah. And then every once in a while, I'll comb it out, and then I'll try to just get a little bit of the ones that are, you get 3 or 4 hairs that are just like, woo, and they grow way longer than everything else. But for the most part, just very lightly, and then just keep this a little bit cleaned up.
Right.
I would love to have you trim my beard at some point. That would make for a great video.
Oh gosh, I'll tell you what, I have probably worked on. I was officially counting up to about 10,000, and I stopped doing that in maybe 2017, 2018. So add a couple more thousand to that, so it's easily 12,000 beards that I've groomed.
One thing that you always preach that stuck with me is when you're growing your beard out, don't cut your style. You want to grow it to the style, and like train it to that way. And that's what I've done, with mine. When I first started, I tried cutting it. I tried cutting the style, and then what happens? You're like, oh, that side's a little short. Then you have to cut a little bit more, and then it's all screwed up, after that.
Yeah.
And it looks way different when it's wet, when it's dry, and so I grow it to the style that I want.
Yeah. I used to say, you can't trim your way to a big beard.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Need to put that on a shirt.
I said, I remember a guy coming to me and wanted me to, he went, I don't know, he went to some chain haircut place. And while they were cutting his hair, the girl says, hey, do you want me to trim your beard too? And he's like, yeah, sure. And that's a huge mistake. And so she just clipped on like a number 2 guard or a 3 guard and just mowed his beard down. It had no shape. It wasn't sculpted. It was just all one length, and it was just didn't look good. And he came to me and said, I need you to fix my beard. I said, I can't. I said, I'm not a magician. I said, if you go away, grow it out, come back in about 2 to 3 months when there's a critical mass, then I'll do some sculpting and I can put a nice shape into it and make a nice style for you. And he literally came back 3 months later. Remember me? And he had a bigger beard. I'm like, yes, absolutely. I said, now you have enough that I can work on, but I can't. Once hair hits the floor, I can't put it back on your face. So,
do you cut your own beard the whole time, or have you ever had anybody cut your beard when it was big?
There's only one guy that I've trusted to trim my beard back when it was like about this big. After a beard is like, when your beard is bigger than this right here, you kind of do your own beard because you pretty much are just cleaning the length a little bit and giving a little shape and cleaning the stash up, whatever. That's pretty easy to do, and I've done a million tutorials on that. But I know for me, what's that?
Your dad was the only person that you would trust to cut your beard?
Actually, no, because my dad came up in an era doing shaves. And I asked my dad, I go, Dad, did a lot of people have beards? And he says, no, not at all. He goes, usually it was only like college professors. That was it. It was like he was cutting hair and doing straight razor shaving in the 50s. And I grew up with my dad cutting hair, and he just didn't have the like I have worked on so many beards. Like I've lost track of how many I've done. And I'm a super perfectionist. I mean, literally, I'm obsessed, and many people are pretty surprised at how obsessed I get when I'm working on their beards, but I make their beards look perfect, absolutely perfect. But the issue is the older barbers are from an era where every man got up every morning and shaved. That was it. And beards were considered something that you grew for hunting season or on the weekend or whatever. But during the work week, Monday through Friday, you were clean shaven.
And you said that was in like the 50s?
50s and 60s, yeah. Yeah. I'll never forget, I'm walking down the street with my father, and I had the big beard. And this, of course, I've had a white beard for, I don't know, about 15 years, I'd say. Just as white as it is now. It's been that way for about 15 years. And my dad is a clean-shaven guy, and he had beards when he was younger. He looked good with a beard, and he had a goatee a lot, kind of like the dad goatee. And he was clean-shaven. This is probably back in 2017 when I had the really long beard. And I'm walking down the street with my dad in Florida, and I had the big white beard. And one of his friends was walking towards us on the street, and the guy said, "Oh, it's you," to my father. And this is what he said. He goes, "I couldn't tell which one was the father and which one was the son." And because my beard made me look older. When my beard was was big and white, it just made me look 20 years older. And I don't care. I never, if someone says, "Oh, that makes you look older," like, I don't care. Like, my response is, "Yeah." And your point is what? Yeah. I don't care. I don't grow a beard or shave my beard to look younger or older. I could give a crap what anyone thinks about it. And that's how it is. But I am aware that when I have a big white beard, it does make me look older. I mean, people open doors for me.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm going into a convenience store, I see people just kind of like run to the door in front of me. They think I'm older, So it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Hey, are you still doing the carnivore diet stuff still, or not?
I am what I call mostly meat. Like for dinner tonight, I put a big, huge piece of beef in the slow cooker this morning. It cooked for about 9 hours, and I cut up some carrots, some turnips, celery, and onions to give the broth a little bit of flavor. And I had like 1 carrot, 1 piece of a turnip, a 6-inch piece of celery, and a honking piece of beef, and that was my dinner tonight. So, well, check this out. The Graybeard Chronicles podcast. It's a great podcast. He says, "I 100% agree. It matters not to me what others think of my beard. I didn't grow it for them."
Exactly. Yep. For me, this is my business card too. People, always, "Oh, I like your beard. I like your beard." And, "Oh, yeah, I do beard stuff." And you hand out a card. It's an easy icebreaker.
Yeah. You're wearing your business card on your face, so to speak. Now there's a podcast where they would enjoy talking with you. The Graybeard Chronicles podcast. So Bryant Halstead, check out David sometime here. He'd make make a great guest on your show. Talk about business and such. That would be great. What's
Cool.
the hardest thing about starting a business, David?
Mm,
I mean,
well,
it started out as a side hustle for you. Obviously,
yeah,
you're melting beeswax and mixing oils in your kitchen or whatever, like everyone does. And
yeah.
then it kind of catches on, and then you realize you got to kind of step up your methods a little bit more. And what was the hardest thing about the business?
For me, probably, I think I had a little bit of an advantage because my products were really good. So they would sell themselves. My issue was just trying to, how do I get more people to find it or find me? So that transition between just doing it out of my kitchen to trying to find like, a retail location with a warehouse in it that,
Hmm.
all that stuff, the insurances and the business licenses and the tax, like all of that logistical stuff. I think for me, that was probably the hardest part, is just getting all that set up and getting it in place, getting the S corp and everything, all that nonsense. Like that was the hardest part. Once I got through that and um, kind of tapped into all my different social medias and stuff, it was just a snowball rolling downhill.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, for me, it was just the transition to becoming just a little side hustle to luxurious bastard company.
Hmm.
That whole transition, that was tough, a little
Yeah,
scary. But when you got somebody like your boss that you've been working with for 12 years telling you you need to quit your job and do that 100%, if you need any help, I'll back you. Like, that to me was just like, well, damn.
right,
Guess
right.
I'm doing this.
One of
And now,
our, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and now, uh, tough. It's just tough right now, just because of everything that's going on. Pretty much since, I mean, on to be honest, as soon as Joe Biden took office, sales. I'm sure it's not just me, but just sales across the board with everything just kind of dropped down. I'm probably 30-40% down from
Yeah.
where I was pre Biden.
Well,
It's kind of sad.
I think a lot of prices have gone up on everything. I know, just everything from gas in the vehicle to food shopping, just everything has gone up. Utilities has gone up. So I would imagine when you purchase supplies, that
Yeah,
goes up,
freight.
and that cuts into your profits too.
Hmm. Yeah, for a good example, the argan oil that I buy, I was buying pails at a time, and pre madness, they're roughly $300 to $400 a pail, and just a couple weeks ago, I went to order the same exact thing, and now it's $978 for the same exact thing. Plus, freight
Imagine
is
that.
double, and it's slower. Used to get stuff in a week. Now it takes 2 weeks for them to even print the label, and everybody keeps blaming it on, oh, coronavirus. It's like, come on, it doesn't take you
Yeah,
2 weeks to print a label now. People are using
yeah,
that as a scapegoat.
yeah. You're right. You're right. Now, let me ask you this. There might be a guy out there who doesn't have a beard. He's thinking of growing a beard, wondering how he's going to look. What advice would you give a guy who's never had a beard? What would you tell him?
Mm, I would say just keep it simple. If you're gonna grow something out, just grab an oil. The most basic thing that you can use. Try not to use. Don't ever use the same soap or conditioner or whatever that you use on your head, on your beard. As it starts to get a little bit longer, and just kind of take it easy. See how things go. Um, Try to, like you say, grow your beard into your style. It's going to look funky at first, but brush it a lot, trying to train how you want things to go, apply the oil as needed. Especially new beards, I think they have a tendency to be very itchy in that
Yeah,
stage, because they're their body's not used to having to supply that. I wish I knew the name of it, the oil, for the length as it gets longer. So people start getting all the beard rough and everything underneath.
Yeah.
So just, start slow, keep it simple, grab an oil, and then as it gets longer, you can start using some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
But don't overcomplicate it.
One of our female audience members, Peg Bell, says beards are handsomely beautiful when shaped and taken care of. John Hoover says that's where guys go wrong. They don't take care of their beards. They just let it grow wild. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Even if you're just cleaning up the extra stuff as it's growing out, just doing that, I think, and you never touch, underneath, maybe get some of this weird stuff on the side. But I think just doing that alone, because I see people with short
Yeah.
beards look okay, but you got all these things sticking out the side and the sides are sticking out. I
Yeah.
think that's how beards get a bad rap, is from, people like that. Just thrift store shopping today, I think I got 3 or 4 comments from like a younger person and older lady, I like your beard, looks very nice. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah. I remember, I forget where I was. I was with my brother, and I had my youngest brother, Vinny, and we were coming off a plane, walking through an airport, and there was a guy walking towards us with a big white beard. And as I passed this guy, he and I made eye contact, kind of like did like the beard nod kind of thing. And he did that, and we just kind of fist bumped as we passed. And my brother Vinny looks at me and he goes, "Do you know him?" And I go, "No." And he said, he goes, "Is that like a beard thing?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yep. Yep.
Do
Everyone,
you get that?
Oh yeah.
Do you get that?
Time. Yeah, I'll
Do you
be
get like
driving
other?
and you see another guy he's driving by and he looks over and you just get that quick, and you're like, "Yep, I know, thanks." And then you get the guys that are like, they have a pretty decent beard, and you walk into the room and they're like, "Oh man," they'll walk over like, "I never had beard envy until now."
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
there's
a
somebody.
perfect time for me to go, "Here's a business card."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your beard is an advertisement. It's like a living billboard. It helps promote your business. I know there was a lot of really good beard memes that were around probably 5 years ago, and they were 4 or 5 years ago, and they were stuff like, if there's 2 beards in a room, the guy with the shorter beard has to give the right of way to the guy with the longer beard, or and there were so many jokes. Like, if you had a beard that was this big and you saw a guy that had a beard that was this big, there was this, kind of like, hey, respect, bro, respect to you.
And
That
like
was
you
pretty
said, you don't
funny.
even need to know who it is. You're kind of like, you walking by and you're like, "Yep, all right," and that's it. You don't need to say nothing. You just
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's funny. What is the future of the Luxurious Bastard beard product company?
Honestly, I'm doing it. I just want to continue to be able to put out the type of products that I'm putting out at the rate that I'm putting it out. I'm always getting approached by fulfillment companies and, "Oh, grow your business even bigger." And I'm think to myself, I'm like, do I really want to be, you're not going to find my stuff, all blasted over Amazon or like in Target or Walmart. Like, yeah, you could make more money that way, but I'm pretty happy with being able to control everything from creating the scent profile to what's going in it, creating the artwork. I do all my own artwork and everything, like from A to Z. I don't want to be able, I'd be afraid of having somebody else handle something and then it comes back to me, a bad rep or whatever. So
Yeah.
basically,
Te-
what I'm doing, and still flourishing. I don't think I'm not going to be a beard brand or anything, but I don't want to be a beard brand. We're kind of like craft brewers. There's a
yeah.
lot of craft brewers out there that have some absolutely amazing stuff, and
Right.
it's small, family owned, type of business, and
Right.
that's how I'm going to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully I'm around here until I can't do it anymore, and then one of my boys will hopefully grow a beard and slide on into the luxurious company.
That would be nice. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. I think that was a good analogy where you said like you're kind of a craft brewery versus kind of like a Budweiser. And
Hmm.
some of the larger companies have they kind of lost track of their roots.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I'm not even going to say the name of those companies, but uh, I much prefer working with. I don't want to call you a mom and pop store, but you are a craft brewery.
Hmm. Yep. Total control of the amount of stuff I can make, and it's great. I love it. I can do a special batch of just 2 dozen of something, or I can do 100 of something. I'm not worrying about mass producing all this stuff, and then
Yeah,
the quality starts dropping, and I'm what's the terminology? Quality over quantity. That's
sure.
been my motto since the very beginning, and I'm happy where I'm at now. I'd like to be back to where it was pre-Biden,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think I should be able to pull through 2022, and I think after
I think
that,
so.
it shouldn't be too bad. I also have a lot of irons in the fire right now with some non lot of companies look at reviewers and stuff that are just focused on beards. I look at people in the industry, whether it be like actors or whatever, that have a nice beard. Those are the people that I'm trying to reach out to and connect with, and
Sure.
get my products in front of. And I've landed a few. I think it's pretty cool, with some of these little deals that are going on in the background. That if they pan out, for 2022, should lead to some awesome stuff. You ever
Yeah.
watch the show Blue Rush Alaska?
No.
No? Okay. Well, there's a mining team on Gold Rush, Alaska that's a bunch of ex military. Like, he only does hires military for his crew. It's called Misfit Mining. And,
Okay.
I connected with him a while back, and it kind of naturally started as just a correspondence and like, hey, I like this, I like what you're doing. And 2022 now, he likes my stuff so much that he collaborated on a profile. So he created a profile. Of course, I blended everything up and send it to him, and he's like, nah,
Right.
change this, change that. But we finally got something that he is like absolutely in love with, that's going to
Right.
have his logo on it, and he's going to rep it on I think Gold Rush Alaska is on Discovery Channel, so that's going to
Yeah.
be coming out probably later on this year. And if that happens, oof, that'll be awesome.
You better
That'll
be
be
ready for some growth.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not going to be no Budweiser, so I'm
Right.
still going to maintain my roots, even if the
Right.
demand is too much. People will have to wait. You gotta good things come to people that wait.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: your logo. Tell me about your logo.
Hmm. Well, when I first started uh, the name actually, uh, I was into brewery hopping and stuff, and there's a company called Stone Brewery, and all of their beers are like Lucky Bastard and the Double Bastard, and I was just like, I don't know, I just like the way that sounded, so I'm like, the Luxurious
Wait,
Bastard.
I think I went to a Stone Brewery in was it in in San Diego?
San
Is there
Diego.
a
Yep.
stone that? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That just rang a bell. I sat. I had dinner at the bar at a Stone Brewery in San Diego. Okay.
Mhm. Yep. So kind of I like that name. I just wanted something that when you hear luxurious bastard, you're like, what the hell is that? It's not
Yeah.
a common name. And so kind of got the name going and stuck with that. And then as far as the logo with, the skull, I messed around with like different hats and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I like the top hat, kind of old school stuff. And then of course, I'm a avid pipe smoker now. And so added the pipe in there with the little smoke coming out of it. And I really, at the time, I didn't think too much about it. Like I thought it was cool, but then as I started to become more known, people are like, "Man, I love your logo. Can I buy stickers?" Like I don't have a beard, but I just like the way your logo looks. And I'm like, "Really?
Yeah.
Never really thought about that." But and there it is now,
Yeah.
Luxurious Bastard Company.
That's a great logo. It definitely is. Do you have T-shirts or anything like that? Do you have merch and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got shirts in different colors, hoodies, and actually this Sunday I'm dropping a new line of zip up hoodies that have like the vintage flag on the back with Luxurious Bastard Company established. It has the flag on the side here with a nice little Luxurious Bastard Co logo on the front. Very tasteful.
Yeah.
Not anybody can wear it. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily scream one thing or the other. It just looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely have a vintage vibe, like if you ever come to my shop and stuff, just my style. I mean, you can kind of see my lounge here is just all the stuff I love, leather,
Yeah.
metal, patina, that kind of look, and it rolls through my products, the same way. That's
Yeah.
why I use the paper labels, the old kind of vintagey style paper.
Yeah. What is your website? How do people find you?
Um, Now you can pretty much just type in simply just luxurious bastard into Google, and I'm usually the first or second website to pop up, but
Right.
luxuriousbastardco.com. That's it. And I have all the socials, so anybody can find me on Instagram, which is tied to my Facebook, and then I have Twitter, and then of
Mm-hmm.
course I do my lounge videos usually every Friday night and talk
Mm-hmm.
about new stuff that's dropping on Sundays, new gear, whatever. Or sometimes I just shoot the shit, whatever
Yeah.
floats the boat.
Yeah. Yeah. And all right. So you're on all the different social media sites.
Mhm.
You on your YouTube channel. What do you talk about? Are you talking about beards? You talk about life.
Mm.
I find that I have seen companies talk about just beards, and I zone out. And I find that having a beard just naturally lends to talking about things like masculinity, being a man, and situation ethics, and that
Mhm.
type of thing.
Yeah, I'm not. Mine's not necessarily just about beards. Sometimes I'll do. It kind of just go with the flow, like for example, I got this cool pipe at antique store. There's times where I'm doing a box opening. Maybe I got some new tobacco and a new pipe, plus I'll sprinkle in a new profile that I'm dropping on Sundays, or kind of tell
Hmm.
people where to go to subscribe to my newsletters and stuff like that. It's just kind of the luxurious lounge. That's what I call it. Just kind of
Yeah.
anything goes.
So do you have a retail location, or right now that like your shop is pretty much for the manufacturing and fulfillment of orders, or do you have like a retail place?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually have both the manufacturing and shipping and all that. It's a 2,000 square foot building. So probably more than half of it is all warehouse. And then in the front is where it almost looks like my lounge. I have things that I've collected from faraway places, and it also doubles as my if somebody places an order like locally or they're at a farmer's market, they can buy something online, select the option for pickup, and they can just pick it up in the store. Or
Mhm.
more recently, I've had people just walk in. Like I have a brewery literally right next door, and beer and beards go hand in hand. So I have a lot of times where customers will see the logo and they want to come in and they're checking it out. And what are you doing here? And I'm like, beards. And they're like, no way, really? Let me smell something. And
Yeah.
they're hooked. And then that's it. End of story.
Right.
But probably 90% or more is online, definitely online orders. But there is a retail spot where you can come in and smell stuff before you buy it too. And
Well, that's
people that
cool.
do it, they trip out because, again, I guess the persona that I give out, people don't expect me to come walking out of the back and you're like, hey, how's it going? What can I help you with? And they're like, you're the guy, like you're the owner. Yeah. And they're like, what? Oh, they kind of forget what they came there for. Or people will call me on the phone expecting to get like some, Indian person, like, how can I help you? But no, they're talking to me. And so they're like,
Yeah.
wow, a
Yeah.
business where you can actually call and talk to the
Yeah.
owner of the company. Like, who does that anymore?
Right. Yeah. You're not outsourcing everything at this point, and you
Yep.
probably won't. You probably
Nope.
won't.
Nope.
That's great. That is great. It's funny. I've seen at the gym a lot of guys with beards, a lot of guys with beards of all ages. And it seems like uh, when people, for lack of a better term, the beard movement, a lot of men grew beards, uh, during like deer hunting season or something like that, or no shave November.
Mhm.
And at the end of November, all men do this, where they announce to their family, yeah, I'm going to shave the beard this week or on December 1st. And, the wife or the girlfriend will say, you know what? I was just starting to like that beard.
Mhm.
Why don't you hang on to it for a little bit? And that is just the beginning of a big beard for a lot of
Mhm.
guys. A lot of guys grew it as an experiment or just for no shave November. And then they ended up keeping it, and it just became part of their look, and they enjoy it. And
Yeah.
the beard is ever changing as a man gets older. I mean, I remember on Instagram, I was posting some pictures some time ago. My hair used to be black. My hair was as dark as this, and I had dark hair, a dark beard, and it was a completely different look. Completely different look. And as I got older, I went salt and pepper a little bit. I started out going gray here, like in the temple area, and then that gray just kind of like moved, to my whole head. And the beard was salt and pepper, and then gray, and then kind of turned silverish, and then basically just turned white. So now
Mhm.
I end up with the white beard. But the everything has changed. A big dark beard for me is different than having a big white beard.
Mhm.
It just, people responded differently. When I had a big black beard, I just didn't get for me, it didn't get the response. Of course, when I had a big dark beard, beards were not real popular, and I
Mhm.
was kind of like the odd guy. And then when beards became popular, uh, it was kind of cool. But when they became popular, my beard was already white.
Mhm.
So now,
Yeah,
how
I've got
how,
this
how many
multicolored.
colors? Yeah, I was going to say, how many colors you got in your beard there?
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, I get this dark area or this light area here, and then the dark stuff on the side, and it's been like that for years already. So I,
Yeah.
back in the day, I was thinking about coloring it more natural, like how this was. And
Yeah.
other people, friends around me that are growing beards, are like, "Hell no! I wish my beard had like multicolors in it like that. You know,
Yeah.
don't ever dye it all one
Yeah.
color because it just doesn't look, it doesn't look natural."
Yeah.
So this
Most
is this.
people have about 5 shades of color in their hair and beard. Most people. Very few people have monochromatic color. Like when I look at some of my Indian clients, they have very, very dark hair,
Mhm.
and there's not a big color spectrum there. They literally have some of the darkest hair I've ever seen. Some of my Middle Eastern clientele, very, very dark hair, and they go gray. But I would say most people from with any European descent have multiple colors. They have about 5 shades.
Mm.
Like everybody has multiple shades. I should say, very few people just have one color.
Yeah, I'm a French Irish mix, so in the sunlight it's very like reddish brown, and then of course this looks a lot whiter right here. Uh,
Yeah,
I filmed I did a random live stream once, like out in natural sunlight, and I had tons of people commenting like, "Holy crap, you're a red beard," because it doesn't look as red as it does, when you're out in the
yeah,
sunlight. And I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh yeah, I guess so. I guess I do." Didn't think about that.
yeah. Different types of light, reflect off of our beards differently,
Hmm.
and the different colors. And then, of course, when you use beard oil, that actually, I think, enhances the beard.
Oh yeah, richer. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
so true. That is so true. Now, I've got guys where I've cut their hair and beards and such, and I've seen guys that have like a white soul patch, and it just grows a long white stripe, down the middle of their beard. And I would
Hmm.
say, I go, "Did you color your beard to look like that?" And he goes, "No, that's just the way it grows in." And everybody's beard is different,
Hmm.
like you've got a lot of lighter color right in that chin area.
Yeah. And then this is a little bit darker, like the rest of this.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's funny how this hair started off with some color, and then as it got longer, it just kind of faded out.
yeah. The
And then
beard is a. Go ahead.
within this last, I'd say like year or so, I've been trying to get all of this hair. Like when I trim here, I try not to touch any of this. So eventually, this hair will come down and be the
Yeah,
same length, which will also help with like you said, you just kind of throw some water, easily just kind of lays down where it's supposed to.
yeah. Wake
But
and shake. Yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah. What's the hardest part about growing out a beard?
Mm.
Let's say there's a guy. Let's say like there's like a dude with a dad goatee. You know what I mean? He's just like the average American goatee kind of guy, or a guy who has a short beard or whatever. But he's thinking of growing a long beard. How would you coach him? What would you say?
Mm. That's a good one. Like I would probably just tell them, like you said, keep it simple. Try not to overcomplicate it. Start off with just your basic stuff. Let it grow and see how it's going to look. Before you start trimming it all. You're not giving it a chance to get a little bit of weight to it. Um, and there's plenty of people that, oh well, I can't grow a big beard. It's like, okay, well, grow a nice, thick, shorter beard. Keep that shape, going that matches your face. And then I have other people that are like, well, I can't grow a beard at all. I'm like, well, okay, grow a badass goatee. You know,
Right?
just try not to overcomplicate it. I guess keep it simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that the hair on your face is different from the hair on your head. So when I get a lot of newbies that come in, I ask them, what do you do for your hair? Just so I don't want to tell them what I do because then they're afraid to tell me what they do. And they're like, oh, my wife's shampoo. And I'm like, okay, right there,
Stop
use
right
this
there.
co-wash, use this. And
Yeah.
2 or 3 days later, they'll message me like, holy crap, I can't believe the difference. Like I can comb my hair without it, getting all tangled, or it just feels so much lighter. And I'm like, there you go.
Yeah. Now you're a dad,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. Got 3 kids. Yep. 2 boys, 1 girl.
Same with me, 2 boys and 1 girl. What do your kids think of your beard?
Oh, they love it. Yeah. I One time I had shaved my beard down. It was probably 2017 ish, and I
Yeah.
shaved it down to like a number 3 ish, just to do a regrow. And they were like, they kind of freaked out a little bit. They're like, well, we don't like that. You need to grow it out. Like,
Yeah.
so this look that I have, maybe a little bit shorter every once in a while, and then I'll grow it a little bit longer. But for the most part, this is about the size that they're used to.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
they would freak out a little bit if I went shorter than this. My girlfriend as well. I did a trim where I cut off some of this thin stuff, and she was just like, "Did you cut your beard?" I'm like, "Only like this much."
Yeah. Now, when
Yep.
you met her, you had the big beard, so she's never seen you clean shaven.
Oh, yeah. She's never seen me clean shaven. Yeah, it would be pretty scary. Yeah. There's a few Instagram posts that I have on my personal account where I have a very short beard, and even I look at it and like, whoa, like, nope, don't like the way
Right.
that looks. Yep.
Right. So do you feel that a beard enhances your look?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep. I'm naturally kind of short and stocky, so I just think the beard, it fits me well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, how about uh, when it comes to doing business out and about? Like, not with, I'm talking with like maybe growing your business, making connections. Do uh, people compliment your beard? Does it help your business? I mean, other than just like the average dude who has a beard and thinks that, okay, the guy that makes my beard oil needs to have a beard. I'm not talking
Mm.
about that guy. I'm talking about uh, larger business ventures. Do you think that the beard helps you?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, because like, I mean, having a beard like this, at least this size that looks decent, I think I would like to think if you're on the other side of that, it's like, well, I mean, obviously you know what you're doing because it looks good, and it looks healthy, smells good, and all that. So for the most part, I think definitely uh, helps in making decisions. Anything beard related, um, and then just dealing with people in general. I think with a beard, they have a tendency to. I think they just, like I was saying before, they think that you're more wiser. Like, oh, that guy must know. Look at his beard. Like, ask him how to fix a car because he probably knows. I think it's just
Yeah.
a little bit of a status symbol. You know,
Yeah.
so definitely, yeah, I think definitely it does help. I know when I was working at the military base, even with the soldiers, I noticed as my beard got bigger, I got more respect. Even just simple things like you were saying, opening doors and, hey sir, how's it going, sir?
Yeah.
Instant credibility. Yeah,
Instant
definitely.
credibility. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
I mean,
wait till you see Brian's beard. Brian Halstead. He's has Graybeard Chronicles podcast. Uh, he's got a beard like yours, a big beard like that,
yeah,
and of course it's gray. And they are of course the the podcast is called the Graybeard Podcast, which tells you what color the beards are. And
Yeah.
it literally, the assumption is that there's going to be some life wisdom there with the gray
Mm-hmm.
beard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't go to a gym and want to go see a fitness coach and they walk out and they look like, fat bastard. If
Yeah,
they're
right.
chiseled and they look like they're in good shape, you're gonna be like, okay, he probably knows what he's doing. I figured that's
Yeah,
kind of the same way here.
yeah,
If I walk out Mr. Luxurious Beard Company and it's all scraggly and you can see through it and it's all patchy, you're gonna be like, I don't know.
yeah. It's funny if when you watch the Graybeard podcast, Bryant lights up a pipe, during his podcast, and that's part of his thing, and that's one of the reasons why I like it. He's got the big beard, he lights up a pipe, and and they talk about life and stuff, and it's a conversation not unlike what we're doing, and they have a nice audience and a nice show.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out.
Yeah. So if people if they just Google luxurious bastard, you're going to show up in.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like that name, like I said, it's not very common. Luxurious and bastard together definitely will pop up, and there's tons of YouTube reviews with luxurious bastard. Even
Yeah,
every so often, I'll even Google myself and see all the things that pop up. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I've actually found some pretty honest, great reviews from. Nobody reached out to me. They just bought some stuff and reviewed it, and I'm like, wow, that's freaking awesome.
yeah,
Even my kids, my oldest boy, uh, Googled me, and he's like, like he thought that was pretty cool that I'm not really anybody. I'm just a average dude, but to him, I think it was cool that his dad came up in like a Google search. So
yeah.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat.
That's cool. All right, what do you got there?
So this is like I was saying earlier, I went to hit up some thrift stores around in the area, and I seen this lone pipe in a case, and I didn't see the pipe. All I saw was the box. You're probably not going to be able to see that very well, but
I can't see it. Describe
yeah,
it.
the box just says real Meerschaum pipes, guaranteed handwork product of Turkey. So I seen the box and I was like, okay, is there a pipe in there? And he opens it up, and I thought it was cool because it had all the paperwork in here.
Nice.
Obviously, it's new old stock, and then this is the pipe. Probably gonna have to like really go in on that, but
Look at
it's
that.
like
It's a Sultan.
yeah, and it's
That's what it is.
unsmoked. Never had
Perfect.
any tobacco in it.
So are you going to break it in someday? What do you think? Or
Oh
is
yeah,
it just going to be a collector's item?
no, I smoke everything that I get. Yeah, that's
Do you?
yeah. Oh yeah, yep. So probably next Friday when I do my lounge video, I'll probably fill this bad boy up. But very cool. I mean, you can't get this stuff anymore. And to find it in
So, all
the
right.
original.
Yeah, the original box. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
I like that. All right. So you said you're going to do something next Friday. What's next Friday?
It's typically when I shoot my luxurious lounge videos, and that's, I'll fire up a pipe or smoke a cigar, open a cold one. Usually talk about what I'm going to be releasing that Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Last week and the week prior, I had the custom labs open. So what I would do is I would make the customer their blend of oil or butter or bomb. Then I'd make a second one, and I'd bring it on the show and give the opportunity for all my fans and followers and stuff to try to purchase one of these customs. Usually, like on a Saturday, I'll put them up, and I had
Nice.
so many. I probably
Right?
produced maybe close to 100 different profiles from A to Z.
Is that right?
Over the
Wow.
last 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah. So very, very
Oh,
cool
that's
stuff.
great.
And I know for a fact there's at least 2 or 3 of those profiles that I'm going to put in. I'm going to end up doing a full run, a big batch.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Now, you had sent me something. I'm trying to find it here. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Oh, where is it? I had it out here. I think I did. Where is it? Where is it? Ah, okay. I so many people, including my clients, send me cigars, and you had sent me a couple tobaccos. You sent me a Orlick Golden Slice, sent me the Quiet Nights, which I had last night, but you also sent me a Kentucky fire cured cigar called a Fat Molly, a 5 ring size, which I do like the 5 ring size. I just think it's just the perfect size. Tell me about this cigar, because you're really good at this. You're like, hey, have you ever tried that? And when I say no, you're like, oh, I'll send you one. And you do. A few days later, it shows up in my mailbox. So let's see. Oh, that is magnificent.
Yep,
Oh, that is just beautiful.
Note. Yeah.
Holy cow.
To me, imagine old leather boot sitting in like a Victorian library, just like, I mean, you smell it there. It has a little bit of a taste to the wrapper to it, and then when you smoke it, the smell makes you think that it's going to be terrible, but man, it is smooth, and the room note that thing puts off is amazing.
Great. I'm going to have to. I'm not going to fire it up tonight. I think I'm going to have a special night for that. But I can't wait to. Oh yeah, I mean I've always liked the 5 ring size, and I love the length, the 56. I mean, it's just,
it's the perfect cigar.
It's substantial. If you puff it at a conservative rate, you're not in any hurry, you're not burning it too hot, you could easily get 45 minutes out of this. Easily.
45 minutes easily. Yeah. It's a nice tight cigar too, so it holds up well all the way down to the end. Some of the cigars, I like it a lot. Over the years, as you get closer to the end, they start to get like mushy and soft, and the flavor changes. With that cigar, especially once you get to about the ring, that's where the meat and potatoes is at. Like, that's where it's just the white smoke that comes out of that cigar is amazing. It's just like silk.
A lot of people don't realize that the flavor and the room note of a cigar changes as you smoke it.
Yep. Same with a pipe too. When you first load a pipe, I find, with mine, you get to about halfway down in the bowl, and that's the sweet spot. Yeah. And then it gets that creamy. I know when I used to puff on Frogmorton on the Town, and there was another English blend, I'm trying to think the name of it, and I'd get about halfway through the bowl, and it would have a creamy finish. Literally, it was like almost, and it's not because it was a flavored tobacco. There was just something about how it changes halfway through, and the cigar is the same way. When like, for the people who are watching, you cigar aficionados, you know that when you light up a cigar, smoking it here versus here, when it gets down to this size here, it's a completely different cigar. You might get a creamy note, you might get like a peppery note, you might get that leather kind of thing popping in it, and it changes, and that's the beauty of it. A lot of people think that there's this, I guess for lack of a better term, a monolithic cigar smell. People say, "Oh, I hate cigars. I hate the smell of cigars." And I'm like in general, like, you hate all cigars? Like, how many have you tried? Yeah,
because every one is different.
Hmm. Yeah, that one time they were somewhere, somebody was probably smoking some cheap cigar, and it probably didn't smell good at all. But you can't say
Right,
you don't the smell of cigars, and because I have cigars that are completely different from each other. I have
right.
cigars where I enjoy, they taste really good, they have a nice profile, but the room note's not that good. And then I have other ones where the room note's amazing, but it tastes like shit. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. You're
So,
right.
but that cigar, that's a cigar that you can smoke in the public, and like you're gonna enjoy it. The people around you, you'll see them like kind of looking around, like that. What is that? That smells
Yeah.
great.
Well,
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that for some night this coming week, and I need to kind of re up uh, my spirits game a little bit. I need to get a new bottle of something. I don't know what I'm going to get. I'll probably end up getting some Four Roses bourbon, which is my favorite bourbon, and maybe I'll just come out here and pick a movie on Netflix. I saw a preview on Netflix. I think the movie is called Old Henry,
Hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. And man, it looks good. I saw the previews; it looked really good. So I think I'm going to watch. It's kind of like a western.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to come out here and I'm going to pour a glass of uh, Four Roses and have that cigar. And I'll probably have it in this glass here. Have you seen these kind of glasses?
Yeah. My sister actually just bought me a set of those for my birthday last week, and she told me that she's sending me a custom, what do you think, a cantour with my
Yes.
logo etched in the front, so I can put a nice, beverage of choice in it.
Oh, that's
So,
great. A
yep.
lot of
And I
people,
checked.
a lot of people have never seen these before, and
Mhm.
I'll show. I had a couple years ago. I had probably well, no, it was back in 2017, I think. Uh, Three different people in my audience sent me these. I got three of these in 1 year,
Yeah.
and I don't know if they were showing up on people's social media, but it's a I was drinking my adult spirits when I was doing like more like sipping on shots out of a square shot glass.
Mhm.
and then I got this square rocks glass with a cigar groove in it, and here's a
It's
cigar,
perfect.
and you just
Yeah.
pop it in there. So if you're out socializing somewhere, like let's say you have a get together in your you know in your a party in the summer, on your back deck, and you're puffing on a cigar. Uh, you don't have an ashtray. You just stick it in the notch, and you can still drink your bourbon, still shake hands with your friends,
Mhm.
and I always just thought it was interesting to kind of
Oh
have
yeah.
a cigar notch, and I think they make a great gift. I think
Oh yeah.
it's just a great gift to a guy. I don't even know where you
Es-
get these anymore, but I just think it's a great.
Especially especially when you have a beard, because the corner of the glass allows you to sip it, so you don't get a stash full of drink. You can kind of
It,
sip it
yeah,
on the corner.
I
I
and
have
that and that's what I did when I had the big beard. I would literally take the take the corner of the
hmm
glass and just drink from the corner as
Yep.
opposed to trying to drink it like this, and it
hmm
just goes right into your mouth versus through your mustache.
Yeah. Yep.
That's funny. Yeah, I have let's see, Mike Rizzo from he's Philly Piper on YouTube. He came in for a beard sculpting a couple weeks ago, and he brought me a bunch of cigars. So I popped yours in there with it. So I'm not a huge cigar smoker in the winter time because I'm enclosed. I like being outside on the deck or sitting on a lawn chair in the backyard as I'm smoking a cigar. I don't want to be enclosed in the Van Gogh room. The pipe
Yeah.
is different, but a cigar is uh,
It'll fill the room. I mean,
it'll
that cigar.
it'll fill the room, it'll fill the room, and I don't like the way my clothes smell after I smoke a cigar. I really have to air them out or leave them outside, hanging up outside or that kind of thing. But with a pipe, I don't mind smoking a pipe, and I don't mind the way that my clothing smells if I smoke a pipe.
Yeah, true. Cool. Yeah, you're gonna have to let me know how you like that one. It's definitely a, like you were saying, smoke it outside on the porch or somewhere, because I think I've smoked that cigar on a couple of my videos, and
Yeah,
halfway through, I'm like, you can't even see the camera anymore. Versus a pipe, it kind of
yeah,
hangs out a little bit and goes away. That one
yeah.
produces like this silky white smoke that just kind of stays. But man, that's one of my favorite
Nice.
cigars right there. I actually ordered it recently in these little tins. I think they call them cigarillos or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a little tin. There's like 10 of them, and they're probably about the size of like maybe a Sharpie or a little bit smaller.
Yeah,
Same exact cigar, same flavor and all that. But that's my
yeah.
favorite size, and the thickness of that one. It feels good, and you'll find that when you have a good cigar and you start getting into the meat and potatoes, I find myself like looking at the cigar, kind of rolling it, tasting it a little bit. You're more like into the cigar than, Joe Schmo cigar, where you're not really
Right.
interested in finishing it. That cigar, you're like, wow, you like slosh it around and look at it. It's a nice cigar. So
Now,
hopefully you enjoy
I'm
it just as much as I do.
well. I'm gonna go to my local smoke shop here, the brick and mortar smoke shop, and they have a walk-in humidor, and I'm gonna see if they have them. And
Okay.
now, do you order your cigars, or do you get them at a brick and mortar store? Where do
Yeah,
you get your cigars?
unfortunately, that one I have to order it. Um, you got to order that one online, but for the most part, it's probably like a 50-50 mix. Anytime I go to a different state or I'm traveling or whatever, I always try to find those little ma and pa smoke shops, when you actually find them. And,
Yeah,
I'll smell different stuff. And a lot of times I'll ask them, what do you like? Because I found a lot of great cigars that way, where I look at the name or I look at the packaging and I'm like, meh, but they're like, oh, that one, you need to try that one. And I'll take it. And I'm like, I'm glad I did.
yeah.
So, you know,
That's how I found Nub cigars. When I was in Gettysburg, and I just walked into the shop. It was called the Union Cigar Shop, and I same thing. I said to the guy, I'm looking for something different, something new. What do you recommend? And he said, have you
mhm,
tried Nub cigars? I said, I'd never heard of a Nub cigar. And he brought me over to him, and I think I bought 6 of them right there. And they
mhm,
became one of my favorite mild cigars. They're very mild, and but they're shorter. I mean, they're like 3 to 4 inches at the
mhm,
most. But I do like that 56 ring size is just magnificent,
mhm.
just absolutely magnificent. So
And I think that cigar it's probably mildish. I probably wouldn't smoke that cigar on an empty stomach. Like if you just had your steak and you're kind of
yeah,
chilling, you
yeah,
can,
yeah,
that's the cigar that you could probably use in that and just kind of sip it. Because the first time that I got it, I liked it so much, and I didn't really. I think I was, drinking a Modelo or something, and I'm sipping on the cigar, and I was really getting into it. And then I really didn't think about it until I went to stand up, and then I was like, "Whoa!"
yeah,
Kind of a little bit
yeah,
of a head spin with it, but yeah,
yeah,
I've grown to really like that cigar. And anytime I get people that come in that are into cigars, I'll usually give them one or tell them about it, and then they'll come back and they're like, "That cigar was amazing." They were scared of it at first when you first pull it out and you smell it, and you're like, "Woo!" It's pretty
yeah.
strong.
I enjoyed
Yep.
it. What a great smell that has. It's magnificent.
Hmm.
I can't wait to fire it up. Can't wait. I'll let you know how I like it. So,
Cool.
well, we've been on the air for over 2 hours. That's awesome. Again,
Holy crap.
tell people, yeah, I'm telling you, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Tell people again where they can find you, and if there's anything that you want to recommend for them, just go for it.
Um, I can pretty much be reached all the time through through the website, through my Instagram. I'm pretty good about responding to emails or DMs or whatnot. But go to the website, uh, click on the new tab, which I typically update that on Saturdays with what's going to be dropping on Sunday when I release everything. Uh, but probably my main feed is Instagram. That's where you're going to see what I'm working on, what's coming out, new profiles, if anything's on sale, or, I love the connecting with my customers and actually chit chatting, about certain things, or even just questions. I always tell people no question is a stupid question. So,
Mm-hmm.
feel free. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right. Well, everybody, make sure you check out his website. Uh, oh, here's a question. I keep thinking I'm going to end the conversation here, but I come up with another question. Do women buy products for their men at Luxurious Bastard?
Absolutely. And I would say within the last year, a lot more women have been buying stuff for their men. Um, yeah, I would say on a 1 to 10 scale, probably 2 to 3. You know, and I do sell a few little things for women. I do 4 different profiles of an essential roller, which I use a lot of basically the same carrier base that I use in my beard oil, but I use
Mm-hmm.
uh, some women's fragrance in them. So it's really good for your skin, dry knuckles, or even just a
Mm-hmm.
roll on perfume. Every woman that has bought it has come back and like, these smell better than my perfume, and they're like their cracked hands or something like that. Cause
Yeah.
it seems like, it helps a lot on that. And what else I do, I have like a little women's satchel. I think I was carrying some women's tank tops. um, but yeah, I would say within this last year a lot more people are buying stuff, for their man, because they like it just as much as they do, like the smell of their man or their boyfriend or their husband or whatever, the way it smells in their
Yeah.
beard.
Oh,
They're
that's
shocked
great.
that there's stuff out there like that. I think they're
Yeah.
buying this stuff in the store, and they smell it and it's like, ugh, that smells like from the 99-cent store. So when they
Right.
discover the luxurious, then they're ordering stuff, a lot more than what they used to. So
And also, too, beard balm can also be used as a uh, like a moisturizer for knuckles or elbows and
mhm.
that kind of stuff. I mean, it's
Tattoos,
just for tattoos, and it's just generally a good product. Most
mhm.
of your beard products, your butters, waxes, and that kind of thing,
I
are just good for skin in general.
I have including my sister, I have a few women that actually use my beard oil as like a shave. Like they'll use it on their legs for like a shaving oil or something.
Okay.
My sister swears by it. I never would
Yeah.
have thought that you could have used something like that, but she's like, "Oh, it's great. I don't get irritations, and the smell is good.
Yeah.
With it, it's got vitamin E and all the 9 different carrier oils that I use, so it's real good for your skin."
And your ingredients, you can pronounce them. You're
Yeah.
not. It's not all chemicals.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. All organic. Yep. Every product that you can go there. You can go to the website and look at all the different ingredients that I make for it. I don't use a lot of. I try to have a pretty equal blend of everything, so you're not getting like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then a whole bunch of this.
Yeah.
Mine's even
Yeah.
blended,
Nice.
a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
Your average oil.
when
So
when people, it's interesting what what passes for all natural. I look at some products and they'll say all natural this or all natural that, and then I'm looking at the ingredients and there's things I can't even pronounce, all kinds of stuff in there, and I'm thinking, do I really want to put this, on my skin? And I like the fact that you are, very natural ingredient oriented and organic and such. So that's pretty cool.
Yep. Best feeling beard 3 years in a row.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, David, thank you so much for being a guest on the show tonight. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
everybody seemed to enjoy it. And any final words? I'll give you the last word tonight.
Well, I always end my luxurious lounge streams. I usually have some beer left, but I already drank it, and I'll take a drink and be like, till next time, get luxurious, my friends. And that's it.
I like that. David, thank you so much for taking time out for us tonight on a Saturday night. And,
thank you.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
For the audience, you had a lot of choices to watch on YouTube tonight, but you chose to spend a few minutes with me and David. And for that, we are thankful. Good night, everybody.
2.5 hours. That's crazy.
2.5 hours. That is something. Yeah. All righty.
All right.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.